Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome to the session of daily Bhagavad Gita. So we continue with our Bhagavad Gita shloka per day reading. So let me share my screen here. Let us start with the prayers and let us pay our obeisances to the deities of ISKCON Sheshadripuram. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki jai, Nitai Chaitanya ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, परशुराम भगवान की जय, वामन देव की जय. Prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are in chapter number 2, contents of the Gita summarized. Today's verse is 2.27. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च तस्मात् अपरिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. Translation: one who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Hare Krishna. So this is one of the often quoted verses of Bhagavad Gita. It's quite famous, and it actually tells us a fact or about a 100% probable event. There is in mathematics, when we do probability, we say that the probability of this event happening is this much percentage. For example, the probability of raining today is maybe 33%. The chances of snow today is this much. The chances that I may take longer than usual in the traffic is this much percent. The chances that I may not get a good appraisal this year is this percent. Like that, everything has got a probability. But here is one statement that is 100% true. That is, one who has taken his birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again. So there is nobody who will contest this or who will debate that, oh, this is not true. Maybe it's not true for me. I'm not going to die. I'll be always alive. Or if somebody is dead, somebody cannot say that, he's not going to be born again. It's such a common sense logic, right? So basically, when you walk, how do you walk? Just imagine, how do you walk with your two legs? So, when you walk, you're using your two legs. You lift one leg, you put it on the ground, and when you're stable on the ground, you lift the other. And then when you go to the next, you put the next leg and you put it on the ground. And once that right leg is stable, you pick up the left leg and you're going up. So just like this, the soul is changing bodies. So as soon as there is death, the soul is picking up another body, right? So now how much time this soul will be there in this body is dependent on various other factors, which is decided by the material nature and which is based on our desires and our actions. So many factors are there. We are not getting into that point. So here the point is that Lord Krishna has already stated in the previous verses that you are not the body. Your identity is soul. And he has explained that the soul is eternal. It does not take birth, nor does it die. Right? All it does is it accepts new bodies and rejects the old bodies, which are unusable. So these are the characteristics that Krishna has said so far, stating the auxiliaries or the statements of the Vedas. Right? And in the previous verse, Krishna said, even for some argument's sake, if you think that the soul will always be born and die forever, still you don't have to worry. Why? Because like there are some people who don't believe that, this Vedic statements, they don't believe that. No, they will say, no, there's no soul. I'm the body. And if I'm going to, if I die, it's death. That's it. There's nothing else. Right? Then Krishna is saying, still there's no problem. Right? Because like, see, because the fundamental premise of that atheistic thought is that uh, my body is made up of chemicals. Life is made up of some chemicals. I'm a combination of some chemicals. Just bring some chemicals together, and then that's life. Disintegrate that chemicals, life is gone. So in such case, then there is nothing to worry for Arjuna, because there is no such thing as sinful reaction in that premise of an atheistic. But then Krishna has said in the previous verse that this is not the Vedic conclusion. And he's sarcastically also telling Arjuna that you are Mahabahu, but you are supposed to be a Kshatriya following the Vedic culture, and you believe in the authority of the Vedas. Therefore, it's not correct for you. Right? Now, in this verse, what is Krishna talking about is the inevitable cycle of so-called birth and the so-called death. So actually, there is no birth or no death. Because if we have understood the statement that Krishna has given in the previous verses, that soul is eternal, soul has no birth, soul has no death, right? Then why should one lament about this inevitable cycle? Why should one lament at all, right? Just like if you know that after the day, night is going to come. After the night, day is going to come. And why should I lament that night has come? Anyways, I know that day will come. And why should I lament that night is gone? Oh, the day has come. Now I have to go to the office. I don't need to lament because I know that the day will definitely come. So here is a statement from Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, stating us that there is nothing to worry. There's no reason for you to stop doing your duty just because on the premise that you will have to kill your grandfather Bhishma and your teacher Dronacharya, that they are going to die, or even if you don't kill one of your army members, will have to kill them and they have to die. There's no other choice because it's a war, right? It's not a friendly discussion. It's a war. So war is do or die, right? One party has to live, one party has to die. There's nothing in between. That's how war is. So there's no possibility that they can be alive. Either you should be alive or they should be alive, right? Then why are you actually lamenting for this inevitable cycle of birth and death? Anyways, a person has to die. Either one person may live for 1 day or for 1 year or 10 years, 50 years or 100 years, but death is inevitable. So does this mean that Lord Krishna is supporting war, violence, right? Does it mean that Bhagavad Gita, it means that go and fight wars, just go on killing people. Anyways, there's no death for the soul, so it's all right. No, that's not correct. Okay. So there is this, everything has been properly designed, okay, by the supreme laws. The supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, has given us the Vedas, and everything has a certain kind of a dharma that has to be followed, right? So basically, the Kshatriya dharma or the occupational duty of Kshatriyas is very difficult, just like that of the police. Police officer may be a very kind person, but he must be strict with the thieves. There is no option. Or an army officer can be very compassionate, kind-hearted person, but if that army officer shows compassion on the enemy camp, that enemy camp will come inside and will cause much more damage to the entire country and to the civilians, and the history will not be the same. It will be complete, history will change because of that misplaced compassion. So we have to understand that violence is a part of their duty. Of course, it doesn't mean that they can kill indiscriminately. So it doesn't mean that, akshatriyas, on the war field, they're coming and they're killing the civilians. They're killing somebody who is unarmed, or there are certain rules like that. Like for example, if somebody is unarmed, is not ready to fight, you're not supposed to kill them, right? Or if somebody is surrendering, you're not supposed to kill them. You're not supposed to kill, the civilians, or somebody who is not ready to fight, like that. So now coming back to this verse, we must not take it out of context and say that anyways the soul has no birth or death. Anyways the soul has to take birth again and death. So let me cut this animal and kill it and eat it. That's wrong, because that is not approved as per the Shastras. If we are cutting the lifespan of an animal, that means there is a certain lifespan that has been given to that animal and or a human being. If I cut it indiscriminately without the rules of injunctions given in the Shastras, then I am doing a violation. Means I am unlawfully changing their lifespan. Because of that, I will get reactions with which I will have to suffer that. So when speaking about the soul, right? This living entity is taking bodies. It's changing bodies, basically. It's not birth, it's not death. The complete concept is wrong. Nobody is born, nobody is dead. It's just that they are the souls, and the soul is eternal, and the soul is unbreakable. It cannot be damaged. It is immutable. It doesn't have any kind of change. It is always the same. But the bodies are changing. And these bodies are not changing randomly. Don't think that the bodies are randomly changing. So if that theory of randomness comes into picture, if I think that, oh, my next body, it can be anything. No, it's not like that. That is in our hands. Whatever body we are going to get in the next lifetime is completely in our hands. We can decide what is going to be our next body. How? By regulating our consciousness. If we regulate our consciousness, if we regulate our actions and our desires, based on that, we will get the next body. For example, if I adulterate my consciousness and I remain on the animal platform, then I will get an animal body. Or else, instead of that, if I regulate my actions and elevate my consciousness as per the instructions of Lord Krishna, and keep my mind on Krishna, on his instructions, on his name, on his form, on his pastimes, I will get a spiritual body which will be eternal. That life is eternal life. So, this cycle of birth and death having material bodies is a life of suffering. But liberation is accepting a spiritual body, which is of the opposite nature of a material body. And that is very blissful. It is not suffering. And it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that human life is not meant for sense gratification. Human life is meant for inquiry of the absolute truth. Human life is meant for tapasya, performing austerities. Why? Why not sense gratification? Because the sense gratification, it is stated in Bhagavatam that it is available even for a stool eating hog. So some hogs are there which can eat stool and they still find the stool also very tasty. They like it. The taste is very nice. That's the kind of tongue that's been given to them. That's the kind of nose that's given to them. So if humans do not take advantage of the position that has been given to them and they act on the platform of a hog, they will get the body of a hog. So with this conclusion, let us try to reflect and meditate upon each of these kind of verses of Bhagavad Gita and elevate our consciousness by chanting these names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then we can go beyond death. The cycle of birth and death, we can completely reject it and get a spiritual body and have an eternal life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions? If I can take up. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.